Afternoon, guys. My name is Alina Shaltsova. I'm an immigration attorney from New York. In today's live video, we will be discussing the most recent interesting immigration news. We're going to talk about border wall now is being built by Biden administration. And you do not have to have that border wall in order to come to the United States. DV Lottery 2025 is open, and all who qualify should try their luck instead of having that wall. So please join this stream, like and share it. Do not forget to type up where you're watching from and your questions, because in the end, after my presentation, I will be answering your guys' questions. Again, my name is Alina Shaltsova, immigration lawyer from New York. I've been practicing immigration law for about 15 years, I think even more than 15 years at this point. And I enjoy helping immigrants. Every week I do have these live presentations where you have an opportunity to ask me a question for free. And let's start. So have you heard that Biden administration is going to build the border wall, something that they were opposing when Trump administration was advocating for it, and now they're saying that because there is a budget for the wall, about 20 miles of that wall should be built. Well, I'm not sure what the real reason is. Maybe it's because the immigration system in the United States needs serious revamping. It needs a comprehensive reform where not just one law, one regulation is changed, but lots of different laws and regulations are changed at the same time. We need to increase the number of immigration judges, expand immigration court hearings, perhaps adding immigration referees, some sort of paralegals, if you wish, who would be willing to take over some hearings to free up the immigration courts. That's, I see, as a number one priority. We do need to add asylum hearing officers. We need to, of course, allow people who resided in the United States for a long time and paid taxes to have a path to legal status. Even if you have to pay a fine, for example. I'm not opposed to fines in this situation because we do have already experience from what's called 245I, a law where the system worked beautifully and many people were able to get their green cards based on the fine system, right? So a lot of different things need to come into play, need to be changed in order for the United States government to take control of the immigration situation. And of course, the physical barrier, I mean, it's going to help for a little bit to stop the huge and uncontrollable migration, but it's not going to resolve the issue. You will see. Wherever and whenever there is a wall, there are people who know how to get over it. And the history teaches us that, of course, you can check me. You can type up an example of any wall that was built in the world at any time. And of course, we will know that walls stop somebody just for a short period of time. So that's, but by itself, I think it's very interesting news that the Biden administration now is also pro-wall, and we're going to see how that is going to work for them in the future. But the biggest news I wanted to share with you, if you have not heard it yet, is that the DV Lottery 2025 is open, and you should take part in it if you qualify. Not every national of every country will be able to do so. Countries that are excluded from the DV Lottery are mentioned in the DV Lottery instructions, so it's easy to check if your country qualifies or not. And if your country does qualify, you should take part in DV Lottery. I always say to do so, even if you are in the United States for a long time, even if you overstayed your visa, because your circumstances may change, you never know. And maybe there is some sort of a change, little change in the law that previously would not allow you to qualify for this adjustment of status, but then it will. And if you don't seize this opportunity, you're going to miss it. So let's start with the DV Lottery. Diversity Lottery allows anybody, anyone who has initial, I would say, school education, right? You have to graduate from high school, or you have to show that you worked in a certain in a profession for 2 years to file for that green card in the United States, to participate in that lottery for a green card in the United States. And if you are selected, you, your spouse, and your minor children under 21 will be able to move to the United States with you. The easiest, fastest way to move to the United States. No need to make a huge investment, no need to wait for that family relative of yours to file something for you or for an employer. Great way to come to the United States. The whole program, I feel like it's one of those unique programs developed by the United States. It's great. Unfortunately, there are only limited amount of people who will be selected, far less than the participants each year. But here, I would like to discuss the most common mistakes that if you're going to handle your DV lottery entry, which you should, if you're going to handle the DV lottery entry, what that you need to pay attention to. Mistake number one, you incorrectly put your name into the DV lottery entry, not the way it's spelled in your passport. Some consulates are going to give you a break and some will not. All right, so make sure that when you enter your name, it's exactly like in your passport. If your passport does not have your middle name, for example, don't put it in. Mistake number two, you use an old photo for your DV lottery entry. Maybe you started playing 10 years ago and you never updated your photo because you feel like it's going to be too much work to get a fresh picture of yourself. Don't make this mistake. Consulates do punish you for not updating that photo if they figure out that it's an old photo. So it's especially true for children, all right? Especially true for children when you put uploading children's photos. Very important. Another mistake. If you do not have certain level of education, if you're just receiving it, do not put that you already have it. That's very simple. Just tell the truth, right? Very, very, very easy to do. So remember that one. And in general, do not forget to mention all of your children, biological children or stepchildren. Extremely important. Basically, why it's important is because United States government is looking to see who may potentially immigrate with you. And stepchildren of yours may qualify for dependents as dependents, so you have to put them in. If you don't, put a child. If you forget a child, you may be disqualified, the whole family may be disqualified. So remember this. These are the most common mistakes. Of course, there are other mistakes that people call me about. And rule of thumb, that is this process is extremely unforgiving. If you make a tiny mistake, chances are you're not going to have a chance to correct it. Once you're selected for the lottery, you have to be absolutely perfect. Because if you are not, you will simply not have time to correct that mistake. Just keep that in mind, all right? So it's a great way, free way to come to the United States. No need to get an employer, no need to invest money, but the process rather has to be perfect for it to work. Now, if you are in the United States and you're participating in a lottery, you may be able to adjust your status if you can show usually that you maintained lawful non-immigrant status from the time of your entry. Many people who came on parole program are asking me if they will qualify. I've never handled a case like this yet because parole is a relatively new thing in the United States. That humanitarian parole that is given to people from Afghanistan or Haiti or Ukraine. So I do not know. But some attorneys shared that people who came on U4U program were able to collect on that DV lottery. So there is hope. And guess what? If you will be a lucky one who is chosen in the lottery and you do have a parole in the United States, you will be able to try your luck either with an immigrant visa, but it will require you to leave the United States and go overseas to get the visa. Potentially you can get stuck there, right? If something goes wrong, or trying to argue that your status is a legal status and you should be allowed to adjust your status in the United States on that parole. But because I don't have a personal experience handling a case like that, I will not testify that it's 100% possible. If you read the text of the law, there are doubts that it's possible. But again, some people reported that it worked for them, and I am simply conveying that information to you, so you may have a chance. And now if you guys have questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. Let's see. Hi, Saga. Hi, John. Do you help in DV lottery application? We personally, in my office, do not handle the DV lottery applications. We do handle DV lottery related adjustment of status, or if you have issues with immigrant visa related to DV lottery selection. Why we do not handle DV lottery applications? They're very easy. There is not much we need to do there, honestly, trust me. You can just open that link and you'll see it's pretty self-explanatory. A different issue may be that you may want to have a consultation prior to submitting a DV lottery to maybe verify whether or not you have to mention this or that child there, or how exactly you need to put this or that information in there. That we can do, and we like doing that, of course. Hi, Dallas. I'm doing well today. Thank you very much. Hi, Salim. Hi, Mahmiz. Hey, how are you from North Carolina? I hope everything good with you. Well, I am in New York. Yes. Can you confirm if Pakistan included in DV lottery visa or not? Based on the memories that I have related to DV lottery 2025 instructions, I believe Pakistan is excluded from the participants of the DV lottery 2025. But I always verify that on the official website by the Department of State. So the same I would tell you to do, not to rely solely on my word. Open it for yourself, like I'm doing it right now, and I'm going to read the countries which are excluded and not eligible: Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, China, Colombia, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Haiti, Honduras, India, Jamaica, Mexico, Nigeria, Pakistan, I was right, Philippines, South Korea, Venezuela, and Vietnam. So if you're a national of one of these countries, you will not be able to take part in DV Lottery 2025. Hi, True Wisdom. Hope you're doing well. So my receipt date was December 2022. I've been 30 under my US citizen daughter. I now live in Mexico. Do you have any idea how much longer it will take? I will not be able to advise you how much longer it will take. Generally speaking, if you do not need a waiver, the process of bringing a parent of a US citizen to the United States is going to take at least a year, all right, if you do not need a waiver. Yes, so I just answered the question about Bangladesh. Bangladesh, unfortunately, is excluded. Hi, Sagar Chowdhury. Yes, some of you, a lot of you actually, ask me about the work visas, guys. For the work visa, to receive a work visa in the United States, in most cases, you will have to have an employer who is sponsoring you. Immigration attorneys, as a rule, without an employer, cannot help you. And by the way, it's also relevant in connection with various scams online. Sometimes people are reaching out to me stating that they paid an agency and they're waiting for their work visa. It's not gonna work. In the United States, for you to come on a work visa, an employer must sponsor you. Surely, there are very limited situations where an agent may sponsor you. For example, for an H-1B visa, it's possible, but then that agent must place you with true employers under the contract, very important. Also, under O1 visa regulations, it's possible that an agent is filing a petition for you. But in all other cases, most likely you will have to have already an employer who is offering a position to you. Remember that. So immigration lawyers are not employers. So different immigration consultants agencies, likewise, not employers, cannot do it for you. Hi, Andre. Do you need to mention in the green card lottery my US born kids? Green card lottery rules allow you not to mention those kids, but if you do, it's not going to disqualify you. Hi, Navid. How much time ICE takes to decide a PD request? I believe during the last conference, they mentioned that you should wait for at least 90 days, 90 days, okay? In most cases, it's going to be much faster, but sometimes even longer, guys. It's on average 90 days. They're very, very busy. Hi, Mahmes. Can you apply for DV lottery and my case pending appeal in court? Anyone can submit for DV lottery, anyone. But what you're going to do once you are selected depends on the status that you're going to receive, you're going to have at the time when it's time to collect the DV lottery. And that I do not know. It depends on your situation. Some people accumulated unlawful presence in the United States, and it will be problematic for them to leave the United States and come back with a visa. Some people would qualify for I-601A waiver, but because of the delays in processing of the I-601A waivers, they may face issues as well. So it all depends on a particular situation, I would say. But yes, can you participate? Yes, you can. Hi, Chahuan from Chicago. Hi, Jamil. What if I win the big jackpot? Will I get green card by winning more than $1 million lottery? No, you will not. But if you are going to be exceptionally wealthy, perhaps you would qualify for EB-5 program. But it doesn't mean, even in that situation, that you will be able to fix your immigration status. Can you believe it? Because still unlawful presence may be in your way. However, if you are going to become particularly wealthy, you may choose a longer route of legalization. For example, first obtaining parole for entrepreneurs, if you will be able to open up a startup, right? And later on, perhaps you will reach your goal. But yeah, it's very interesting. The United States laws, immigration laws, are very unforgiving. Even if you're a person of significant wealth, it doesn't mean that if you have prior immigration violations, you're going to receive that green card. Very, very interesting. I know that some countries are different and they allow you to pay and get rid of those immigration violations. If I'm not mistaken, and you, my listeners, and those who are watching can confirm, I believe this is a practice in Turkey. I may be wrong, and then I apologize. But I believe this is a practice in some countries where you can pay and your immigration violation will be erased. All right. Hi, Jerts. Hi, Alina. My husband's brother filled I-130 since May 2014, and all he has received is a receipt notice stating that they received it. Should he have received an approval notice already? It would be wonderful if he did, but not necessarily. What happens is that it happens sometimes that in those preference categories, the United States government is taking their sweet time deciding the application. So if the application is not denied, it's not necessarily that it will be denied, but it can take a very long time for it to be approved, because in that particular category F4, I understand that your relative petitions is being filed and pending. The wait time is 10 to 12 years minimum. So the United States government is aware of that, and they're not in a hurry to approve that case. All right, and I'm going to take the last question for today. Hi, Alia. Someone on the student visa F1, can she apply for asylum inside the United States without breaking his/her student visa? Indeed, if you are in lawful non-immigrant status in the United States and you're filing for asylum, your status usually is not interrupted by filing for asylum. But what happens is this. If your asylum case is denied at the interview, you will not be referred to court because the government cannot do it. After all, you're still in lawful non-immigrant status. Just keep that in mind. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your interesting questions. I hope I encouraged all of you to participate in DV Lottery and try your luck. If you win, let me know. I would like to know what's going to happen. So we have to meet again in May of next year when the DV Lottery results will be announced. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel and join me on Facebook. And I